course, Kinguin on the T side. Back to the way we were on the first map. Another choice by them, which means mousesports got the side choice, and they chose CT. No, not surprisingly, Speedy already going to push up inside the tunnels at B, and he's got problems as soon as he rounds this corner. Little does he know, as that first flash comes out, he dodges it accordingly, still manages to pick up one, which is pretty good considering the situation he was in. And the rotations have come over as a result as well, so this isn't too bad yet for mousesports. In fact, it's quite slow from Kinguin after that initial duel. And they may have to reconsider, but they're going now through lower. 3 players, they trip over each other a little bit, are down the tunnel already. And with that smoke out in front of Fox, they'll be able to work in toward the bomb train. And the nade from Scream makes things a lot better in the terms of manpower against them, because mousesports lose one more. But Gabi's now brought back Michael, and the bomb's been planted, but they're so far away. And this is one of the things with this inner site, is that if you can duel them and manage to push beyond where you plant the bomb, it's just that much harder, as it's a labyrinth of trains and alleyways you have to cover off. Scream doing a task. It's going to be Kinguin, 5 pistols now in a row.
As you said that's quite interesting. The fact that Speedy pushed up and managed to get a kill, he must be quite lucky. We were feeling quite lucky with that one. He should have got taken down straight away without any response. But they got that first pit kill, did the smoke down lower ramp. I think they were trying to bait out the grenades. They knew they took the vision away from the CTs. So it actually was quite cool from Kinguin. They didn't force it. Most of the time we'd see them just get straight in there, but they waited, bought their time a little bit, and made sure they got in successfully. Bomb went down, and it was pretty simple for them from there. Went down to a 2-on-1, which they cleaned up. But of course, mousesports reply straight away. They have got the scouts out, and they will be trying to find a kill. That's going to be Chris J. We saw him do amazing work of it on the last map. Will he be able to recreate the same magic we saw this time? Now they've actually heard the scouts being fired. Kinguin just need to slow it down a little bit. They can do pretty much exactly the same round as they did on the pistol. Do a smoke down to lower ramp perhaps. That'd be really good for them. Just get the numbers on, and they've only have one kit to actually retake the site with. So aim at the game Kinguin right now. Get that bomb down and see what they can do with it. But Dennis somehow finds a shotgun kill onto Rain towards T-spawn. He's pushed the Ivy area, and that's a big kill to get. That's really weird how Rain didn't answer back to that one. But there we go. 5-4 in favour of mousesports.
As they work up inner now as well. We've seen eco rounds be contested. We haven't seen one be lost yet. So the anti-ecos have been scary and hairy, but still carry?
Yeah, that sort of works.
Sort of works. They still get the rounds is what I'm essentially trying to say, and as we can see, it's starting to look that way again. Oh. But as I say it, the commentator's curse comes out, and now we've got it. The double scout pays off. mousesports back into it.
The God B pays off more. Like, he got a 3-man with a 5-7. That was crazy stuff from him.
God B.
God B. That was really, really strong round, and this happens time and time again. They always force it, but the time they get it, you can't really argue with it. The scouts prevail, and now that forces Kinguin with no bomb as well. They will be on. It looks like they are going to go for the force buy. Armor's being brought up. Tech 9s. They have got a smoke grenade as well. Perhaps could do literally the same thing again. They've opted for inside twice in a row. What are they going to do this time? You can see a lot of the players gathering up towards that main. So, what's happened there? Oh,
we've called a pause in the next round, but something peculiar has just happened. And Kinguin's saying thank you.
I assume someone crashed. Let's keep this more.
They do have E-bot running, so they will be able to match medic this quite quickly. But it was called a stop by Dennis. That was brought. DDoS. Yeah, so interestingly, Kinguin's got the issue that we all fear. They called the stop, so this should actually, when it goes to resume, go right back to where it was. It actually just pauses out the whole server rather than just an in-game pause. So this isn't too much to be concerned about where the score's been reset here. This will go back where we were.
Yeah. DDoS is still an issue, apparently.
Of course it's an issue. Are you kidding me?
Well, like, you can't protect yourself.
You let any salty motherfucker out there that's betting skins involved in the game, yeah, you're going to get DDoS.
Yeah, but
because they care about their little in-game currency, and they just want to be a troll.
No, I mean, the fact is that there are ways to protect yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that as well. The players need to take it upon themselves to do due diligence in avoiding that. VPN, getting off Skype, programs that limit IPs.
That's all I meant. I didn't mean to upset you.
Oh, I'm not upset.
You looked very angry.
I was a little angry. It's a little pathetic, let's be honest. And not only that, it's and apparently it's with Scream in specific, but not only that, it is actually, and this is going to become more of a thing, not to get too political here, but this whole internet bullying and internet conduct policy is going to become more and more serious as time goes on, and eventually people are going to be given
pretty sure-
massive fines, potential felonies, and criminal acts.
I'm pretty sure
types of things.
DDoSing is a felony, not necessarily a player. I don't think that counts. But if you take down a website, for example,
Oh
it's
yeah,
obviously loss of
100%.
business,
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a very big
But
ballsy
you
move to
could
do.
argue this is a business. You could argue this is a business, and therefore there is loss of income. There's damages that are done to sponsorships here, viewership.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've got something like 40,000 people. You could argue that that's a demographic and a frequency reach that, you know, marketing relies on. So you could argue the same thing technically. Get a strong enough lawyer. Depends how much you want to spend.
I want you as my lawyer.
That's the worst decision you could have made in your entire life.
We'd have a good time though. Go out on a blaze
It
of
would
glory.
be fun. It would be Saul Goodman where he just comes into the courtroom with a giant spiel and makes a big elaborate scene, and then the judge just looks at him and goes, "You're an idiot."
And I go to jail.
And I go, "You're right. Send him. Send him to jail. I'm an idiot. I agree."
Well, okay, so I can't really remember. Okay, it was one. Kinguin took the pistol round. mousesports answered back. I assume we'll be coming back to that stage of 1-1, and it seemed like Kinguin forced ball with Tech 9s. I don't think they'll be able to do much with those. I guess their best plan really is to try and get a bomb down. They bought one smoke grenade. Smoking off the lower ramp to inside could be a thing, but I think I saw them running towards the outside bomb side. Maybe they've got a little set piece, smoke off one of the tracks, get out with a flashbang, see if they can cause some chaos. Obviously, the scouts going to be out there. Maybe if they
That's
can...
the best Canadian you've said all night.
Is it?
The Scoot's going to be out.
The scoots.
Scoot out.
But that's
It's
about
a boot.
all we have right now. We can see the players. Who's going to be missing? It's going to be Scream that got affected quite badly from that. So he should be rejoining any second. And hopefully we can get this one underway. 1-1. This is the third map, of course, for anyone just joined us. It's going to be, if Kinguin take this one, they will be taking the series and going through to the first group of the PGL. And mousesports will actually be going out. And that will be quite an upset, I would say, considering what's going on. I think Kinguin still are quite an unknown factor. They're quite unstable. The fact they went from Dream at Valencia, great performance from them, but they lost their coach after that. And then you think, okay, is that everything reset for them? All the hard work now has to go back into it. But it seems like even without their in-game leader, the coach tonight, they've gone 2-0 up pretty convincingly, 16-5, 16-7 versus mousesports. You have to credit where credit is due. They've done pretty well.
Yeah, I think that this map, again, we've said it time and time again as we've talked about leading into this, and obviously we've had some time to do that based on issues we've now seen, but this is the first map I really think Mouse can take.
Yeah.
And you said it as well, that you wanted them to wrap it up in 3. I mean, we still have Overpass next, and then Mirage.
Because that's what I'm saying. If mousesports take this one, I think it may be going all the way. It really will. It'll go down to the 5th map.
Could go all the way.
Like, I'm pretty confident now. But it seems like all the players are back on the server now, so we should be jumping back into this as soon as we find out the resume point.
The thing is, to go against that theory, though, and I agree with you statistically speaking about the maps and the way that these two teams play and the fact that Kinguin doesn't, not only not having an in-game leader and much that execution, don't have their coach, which they've brought in to bring that tonight either, which should potentially have an effect, although we don't know how much effect Laguija's had and how much time he's had to mold that
like
team.
you said, 2 weeks, he said, right?
Right. Well, I'm assuming somewhere in that realm is correct. Obviously, last night it was made official, but the bigger thing for me is just the fact that Kinguin has been outscaling mousesports in skill in a lot of ways. So if they don't wake up, you can throw theory out the window.
Well, this is the chance for mousesports to bounce back, winning the anti-eco. Well, the eco for them, I guess, forced buying with scouts yet again. They've got straight back into this and in a very strong position now. Need to make sure they don't lose this one, otherwise they're in a world of pain. But here we go, we're finally back in. It looks like Kinguin will be going for that outside rush I spoke about. Actually, no, it's going towards inside. So maybe the smoke's down lower ramp and seeing what they can do with it. They need to want to get a bomb down, but there's going to be some aggression from Dennis. Takes down 2 men, and he should be able to fall back now and tie up the round as long as he plays his cards right here.
So the only thing by calling a stop is that it resets at the previous round. Fortunately, there wasn't any damage done before that stop or that resume period came in, because then you could get the controversies of other teams, you know, saying this, that, and the other thing. But we go back to exactly where we were as mentioned. So it's 1-1. And it is 3-3 in terms of manpower. Lots of HP lost and blood away from the Team Kinguin, but they are getting the kills. And more specifically, it's Little D to take down Speedy this time. And he'll fall back to join his teammates. He's also picked up an M4. He's got Kevlar. As an additional smoke nade goes in. And no one pending to be a threat right now on a flank, per se, as Nex is in the back of the site. Doesn't have a lineup on the bomb planter and slips off the edge of the train, so has to hit the shot, does. They're all low enough that scout will do it. If he can find the angles, and speaking of that scout, there's also this one from Chris J, which is coming in through Z Connector. It is able to take down Michael Lilly. But bombs planted for that high position, and it's now 3 scouts on the map to close out the round. How perfect is that? Nex is on high HP, though, which means he's got to switch to the Deagle to Scream. He's also got the problem that Chris J's diffusing in that smoke, and Scream's going to ignore the first kill. It would have been fancy and a big blunder by Nex if that had happened.
That was crazy. All the scouts trying to no-scope each other, trying to run past. That was a pretty fun way to finish it, but mousesports do tie one up. Good effort from Kinguin, though. It was such low HP to get those 2 kills and the bomb down as well. Best they probably could have hoped for, and they know they're going to have next round with a full buy, and that means mousesports can be a little bit relaxed this time. They've got SMG's scouts, but I think we may be having a pause again because it looks like a DDoS may be back. We have to get a stand-in.
Kinguin's calling the same stop, and it's a stand-in, which is a stand-in for Scream, who's been an outstanding player for them as of late.
Quieter today, but yes, obviously you can't ever replace Scream, I don't think. There's no one who can bring that sort of
You can bring in Yell, and then you've got similar, complexion.
Well, it's going to be difficult. It's not the ideal time to
just don't bring in Whisper.
It's not the ideal time to bring in a Merc, is it? On the 3rd map when you're trying to close out a series. This is not the time you want this to happen.
No, not at all. I'll be interested to see who they go for first stand. And obviously, they've used Cadian in the past, but now he's with SK. Nico, if he's around, would be someone else that has a lot of skill. It's weird that the DDoS goes against Scream, or maybe it's rather not when you think about why the DDoS would go against him, because he leads the way with 7 kills right now.
So who do we think he's going to come in?
It could be Nico.
Oh, he is back.
Mind you, it would be Nico against his old team, which is weird. So he's back. Scream is back.
Oh, I love this when this happens.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, at some point in time, although this isn't technically paused because they've called a stop to the match,
right?
It still does. I don't know how it works in this situation for this particular league or in an admin decision, but it still takes away from team duration. Like, it's still taking away from the timeout time that Kinguin would have. So they have to make a decision by the end of that. So they've got to decide if they want to stick with Scream or if they go immediately to the stand-in. Because if this happens again, they pretty much have to call it.
Well, they're continuing now. It seems like Scream will be staying on the 7. Like you said, he is doing phenomenally well. He's got 7 frags after 3 rounds. So obviously has been an impact player for Kinguin. But he's sticking around. He's having a look at his ping. It seems like it's stabilized now. And maybe the DDoS has let off for a few minutes at least. And we will be going back in this one. So like I was saying before, this is a round I don't like this from Kinguin. Why are they force buying this? I don't think they needed to. So they got the bomb down last round, and they were looking pretty going into the. Sorry, pretty doesn't really work. They were looking pretty good going into the first gun round of full AKs and stuff, and now they're going back in with Galils, Tech 9s, and a CZ, and maybe they've got something up their sleeve. It looks like a proper set piece coming in, so they'll be trying to get the bomb down, and maybe just trying to go against those scouts. They will be doing that now. They make their way out onto the outside bomb site. Smokes are down. No exchange yet, but Godby opens it up, takes down Rain. Fox replies, though. And then all of a sudden it's a 4-on-4 situation. No sign of the bomb going down yet. CTs have rotated on the bomb site. There's going to be a lot of exchange of frags now. Chris J takes down Dennis. And it looks like there's a team kill coming in. Michael Eddy takes down Fox as well. And he's going to be the last man remaining. And the CTs hold them off. And this is exactly what we're talking about. If you don't get the bomb down in those situations, you're going to be in a world of hurt in terms of the economy. And maybe this DDoS situation has affected the mindset of Kinguin a little bit. They weren't going to do that before. It looked like they were full ecoing.
Well, this is the first time that Kinguin, after winning a pistol, gets ecoed. We saw them avoid that in 4 previous pistol round wins. The problem is that now they've also given mousesports a bit of a lead and economy, which they haven't had at any other game. That's almost in some ways been the saving grace to Kinguin's starts that they've had. Well then, now they are full eco. They have a Deagle to play with. Fox is taking a Tech 9, but Dennis shuts down the other Dennis straight away and slow down that push, and there's going to be Kinguin just waiting outside the B area. You can see one player is towards Ivy as well. That's going to be Rain, trying to find some distraction maybe before they execute onto the bomb site. Speedy down on the floor of the inside site, but it's over toward A. We shift our attention because Gobby wants to get down this Ivy corridor. Rather, Rain does. He's already made it. It's going to be attempted to be retaken from mousesports. They can get that little bit of map control back, slow things down from the terrorists. We mentioned how much of a nuisance that single alleyway can be to the defense as it pulls them so far away from the site. Nex is still going to go all the way back in the outback to spot it, which does let Scream move a little bit forward. But Chris J has made himself into a very interesting position because there it is, the flag. But Dennis doesn't know it. So Dennis sees a movement in a position where he'd expect the terrorists to be, and, well, returns what Michael did to his teammate onto Chris J. That one was even more unfortunate because it wasn't like it was in the heat of the moment. It was just an anticipation play that was miscalled. Bombs gets planted this time, so Kinguin have that to work with, and now team kills going to be everywhere.
Yep, so
they're everywhere.
CT stabilized around after that big team kill from Dennis, but there we go. He's 4 on the board for them, and that's what I was talking about with Kinguin affecting their economy so much. They get the bomb down again now, so they should be able to enter this round with a reasonable buy, and they want to start getting the pressure on now. They have got the AWP and Merkelele. We were talking before about them relying on picks quite heavily. This is what we'll see now. They'll be trying to work the map, seeing if there's anything available in terms of a pick, but the dual up setup does come out from mousesports, so that's they're going to have a lot of challenges, a lot of opportunities to get some picks here. Will he be able to do it, though? Will yet to be seen. And we can see the T's now spreading out. Orpa will be going towards the Ivy area with the bomb as well.
Dennis comes back over to support Speedy. He's still in a quick swing position, but they've also got 2 more players, and Gabi and Nex on the A side. Chris J has to watch Ali, and the interesting thing is that okay, now he is. Now Gabi's going to get between both the 2 trains, looking at the connector, because if he stays that passive on the site, then they do actually give Kinguin a bit of movement space on the entry. But Gabi pushing up. Now the only thing he has to be worried about on top of that train is ladder, but that's where Nex comes in. Instead, they don't even bother anymore. Rain was waiting, so they had the right intention. Michael, though, he's going to open up the round. It's Gabi that gets caught out, so T-side op making the first play and another stop being called.
You can see the chat explode there. It's a little bit confusing now. So, after getting the first pick, the T's call for a stop. It seems like confusion comes through, and the picks open up for mousesports completely. Now on a 4-on-2, Scream and Fox to be last men, but the Orbs just doing such huge work and picking apart.
Well, Scream is the one that called the stop. He's in the corner, so obviously problems have issues, but his teammates called no. And I think the reason they called no is because it would restart this round. They already have pick. 2 kills. Yeah, well, they had 1 kill. They had the first pick. They actually thought they could still move on with this, but unfortunately they're going to lose the round, and Scream can't do anything. So they're going to have to go to the stand-in at this point, in my opinion.
Such a shame.
Yeah, there we go. We have a stand-in on the way, says Little D.
Well, you can see Scream, yeah, it's still getting affected by the DDoS. He's got 101 ping there. It is a shame. This was turning out to be such a good game for them. And now, potentially, this could be the downfall of Kinguin as we stop once again.
I want Pasha to find them like you said he would.
What's he going to do to them?
Oh, I assume the biceps would get a nice little feeding. It's like giving a mouse to a snake, isn't it?
Well, that slows down play once again. We are 5-1 in favour of mousesports, of course, like I said. Markaleli there, going for the first pick on side alley, does find it on God B. But it all fell apart from there as soon as the pause, well, the stop was called at that stage. And now we're back in the nether zone. We don't know what's going on. We're waiting.
The other thing as well, by calling on a stop, I think it's a lot easier when they do go to a stand-in to shift the file over so that he'll get Scream's money, whereas a pause keeps everyone as they are. I don't think you can edit the ebot file there. I could be wrong on that one, but I think that's how that works.
I guess that makes sense because it'd be easier instead of having to copy the file across. You just literally replace it, I guess.
Yeah. But
we can see we don't know who the 5th is yet. Scream has officially left the server, so he's.
Scream's got to be gone. I mean, they've used Nico in the past. If we bring Nico in here, he's going against obviously his old team, mousesports, but there's no allegiances there anymore. I think is he still contracted with them? Originally, I think he was listed as bench on their roster.
I'm not sure. I couldn't possibly
that might have expired. I think when he first was taken off the starting lineup, he was still contracted with mousesports. So it would be interesting to see if that's still the case. Because if anyone knows that'd be cool to know. Because if he comes in as a stand-in, wouldn't there be conflict of interest? That's one way to get out of your contract.
Is that Schneider coming on?
That might be Schneider.
I assume it is from the name.
Schneider, yeah. That could be his Smurf name. But we were going to go to a break. We won't because he's already here. So Schneider coming in, getting another Swedish player.
What do you think about that? Could work. I think this is going to be. This is when it goes all the way now. From Kinguin looking so strong in those first 2 maps, now you're bringing a Merc. They're already very reliant on fragging and not having that much team play, but this is going to be very hard for them to get back into it, especially without the proper in-game leader. They're going to be playing full-on pug style now.
Oh, 100%, and it's on a map we already talked about that they can't really do that on at all. Not to mention, if you had brought in Nico, I would argue that He doesn't have the headshot potential that Scream does, but he's definitely got individual skill that's close, in my opinion. Schneider's not up there on that level, in my opinion, at all.
He's not on Scream level. I don't think many people are. Nico is close, I think.
Yeah, Nico's nuts. Nico's actually insane. I wish, like, hooked on phonics, get his English better. I don't care what you have to do. Get that guy on a team that's ridiculously good, and he's going to be ridiculously good.
Well, we should be... I guess we're sorting out the config files now and seeing how that works out for them, but... Interesting thing, this is 5-1 in favour of mousesports. If you have just joined us, you're in the third map. It's D-Train. We're currently experiencing DDoS issues on Scream, so he has dropped out. And this is the third map. So the first map we played was Cash?
We started on Cash. And we went to Dust 2 seconds.
Right, so first one
was
Cash.
16-5, 16-7 for Kinguin. But now Kinguin's lost...
Star player.
Well, tonight he hasn't. He is a star player. There's no question. Tonight he hasn't been the star player. Last evening he definitely was. But tonight we've had Dennis as an MVP in one game and Rain in the other. So there's been some changing of pace there. But also that said, Scream was third, I think, in the first map and second in the second map.
Yeah, that's about right.
So he's definitely been up there.
So Schneider then got his work cut out for him. When they're 5-1 down on the T side, you only see this going one way. By the time they find their feet on this, it's going to be like 5 or 6 rounds before it happens. And I guess we're just waiting for the admins to sort this one out.
Okay, well, they actually just asked. There was one AFK while they got called for the stand-in, but we've just got Michael Lilly saying, "What app?" in that exact tone, and then "ready" from Chris J. And now everyone's going for the unpause call, so we'll go into it. They actually did, interestingly enough, they didn't go to a stop this time as I look over at the server. They did go for a pause, but we'll see. EBOT file should have been implemented and put upon Schneider, placed upon him, bestowed with such great trust.
Oh, here we go.
And he has a Galil already up, so obviously that's the case.
A Galil, so does that mean he didn't get the Scream money?
It means he did. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So he hasn't got any grenades. He's just got literally Galil and armor, nothing else. And the rest of the guys got full buys.
He has armor.
Well, he's got body armor.
They may have thrown it over to him. Let's see if I can figure that out.
No, he started $800 right now. You can see minus 650. That's all he's bought.
Yeah, you're right. So he didn't get his file. So that's what we were talking about. That's why we go to a stop in that case and not a pause. Interesting no less, but they've gone for it. They've called ready. At this point, they pretty much have to. They've delayed the game long enough, and we'll get back into it with mousesports leading by 4 rounds, a total of 5. Double op setup going to be up again for Chris J and Dennis.
Well, we can see them, the boys heading towards that inside bomb site. I think they're just going with something very loose, very fast, getting into the inside and seeing what they can do with it. They will have Speedy waiting for them, and Dennis does open up the fragging.
But Foxing going to respond onto him, so it's a direct trade. Schneider's gotten forward to the bomb site. He can't find it in the flash, though. He's completely blind. He's done a lot of damage, but no kill onto Gobby, and that allowed Chris to walk back out and take the shot into him with the op. Bomb goes down Michaelele, but he's alone because Chris J now finding little Dennis. Chris has to clutch this out perfectly, and Chris J now is going to put fire on that alleyway below. And a smoke, I do believe I heard deployed on top of the train. In fact, no, it's not. It's on top of where that fire, in fact, was. So there's no smoke directly on top of the bomb, and Michaelele spotted that, so he's gone back inside the tunnels. Reflash himself out. It does blind Chris J, and he'll cross over the shot. Very well played by Michaelele in the 1-on-3.
Yeah, that's actually a really smart play from him. He wanted to face the fake defuse. He wasn't 100% sure about it, but that flashbang he threw into the mix really slowed it down, and Chris J had to spit out a blind shot there. And the first round that Schneider rides on, he doesn't get a kill, but they win the round. So things looking up for Kinguin all of a sudden. So mousesports now couldn't afford the AWP, so they'll be doing a full rifle setup. So this is a potential chance for Kinguin to get back into this. Obviously, they have the AWP now. The pick did work for them before the DDoS come in. They did that work inside alley. But it seems like they're slowing things right down now.
And just the news update for the question I posed. I've been responded by YNK, who used to play with Nico, that he is still contracted with mousesports.
The CT's there trying to push inside, Speedy, with the FAMAS, trying to look for that first kill, and they're on the back foot. You can look at the economy they've got. They've got FAMASes, they've got no grenades really whatsoever. They've got 1 smoke remaining, 1 defuse kit. So this is a huge round. If King can take this one, they reset mousesports, and they may potentially be looking at a double eco here.
Which would only add to problems. Make them worse. Rain. Go away. Come again another day. He won't. The Tech 9 eventually gets the kill. Next gets back into him. So he gets the umbrella in place, but Nex and Gabi are doing even more damage. mousesports, we said this was going to be their map, but it's going heavily in their favor early on. It's just down to Schneider. Welcome to the server. Welcome to the slaughter. He's up to the task at least by taking down Big Deep, but there's still 3 more members and only 33 HP. Means he can only give up 32 of it. Simple math. Looking for fillers as we wait for Schneider to push forward, and he does. To the obligation of Nex's M4.
Well, there we go then. That round is answered back by mousesports. The one we said they had to win against Double Eco. I think Kinguin actually got the opening frag as well. Rain taking down the Tech 9 shot, but they went straight into the inside bomb site, and it looked very easy for Nex to clear up there, utilising his superior aim to find some headshots onto the B bomb site. Forces Kinguin now to, it looks like a full eco. They've got 4 Glocks, 1 Tech 9, a flashbang with Makaleli. So you'd assume they're going to do something very fast there. There's no point messing around. But in the inside bomb site they go. Maybe out to upper ramp instead of lower.
Smoke out. That'll slow down things again, but they put 4 players on upper, and already they're dropping in. They're not even worried about a potential shot coming from long. But it does give the movement to Speedy with no utilities placed. The important aspect of this is that the bomb has gone down. That was the goal. That's a success. Can more kills come their way? That would make things more successful, as the English language would indicate. That means greater than initial success.
Oh.
Chris J, $1,500 on the flank.
So, yeah, like you said, that was a nice round for Kinguin when they've got 4 Glocks in the Tech 9. Getting the bomb down in that scenario is great for them. But what's even better is Chris J picking up a nice dump of cash there with a knife kill at the end. So, 7-2. This is where Kinguin can reply now. I say they need to get at least 5 rounds this half if they're going to have any chance of locking it down on the CT. But I don't really feel like it's going to happen. It looks like they may be a little bit lost, but still early days. We have 6 rounds to go now. Let's see how this one unfolds. But max 7 now on Chris J. Not picking up his trusted scout.
The Molotov goes over to cover off the main connection point. They've already got a player past it, though. Michaelele's made it into T-Hell. He's waiting on the cubby as well for anyone to push forward carelessly, and Gabi almost does. He thinks about jumping to the forward train. As he just sits on top of green right now, we can see him now in the X-ray vision. He's going to jump down the ladder, unfortunately, with the noise and grace of an elephant, so it's easily taken down in reverse by Michaelele, but that's about all they get. Chris J as well did go down, but insignificant in the fact that they'll keep 3 alive, and now economy is a non-factor at this point for mousesports.
Kinguin really are going to struggle now in terms of the executions on this map. It seems like they're just trying to get out together, split bomb sites, but without the full smokes and the set flashbangs and the Molotovs that we discussed before, it's almost impossible to get out of those key choke points. It looks like mousesports are just taking them out before they even have a chance to get out of the main points of the map. So they really need to work out what's the best way to approach this, whether they stick with the rushes or whether they do a heavy pick game, but mousesports seem like they're taking them down everywhere and every angle they can. Dennis again taking down Fox, and it's going to be a pretty simple round once again from mousesports.
Pokeball catching Schneider. It leaves Nex to take down Michaelele, and he's already up on top of the blue train, forward toward that connection point, and knowing now that they've also got that kill and Speedy inside by the ladder, he doesn't have to worry about that flank. He can stay forward on Rain, so the second he goes for the peak, it's not one of those cheeky battles of who's going to show who first. He's already staring at him.
Well, here we go. So obviously one of the bigger rounds now. We can see the mousesports actually going for a 4 rifle setup. This is the time, if you were going to do it, you do the aggressive push. You know the terrorists are trying to adapt to what you're doing. And we know, I've seen mousesports as well, they do a great inside push with some of their teammates. They like to push up the inside ramp. And maybe that's what they're doing right now. We can see Chris J, he's got a teammate that they are going to go for it. This is a perfect time to take down a terrorist very early on and see what you can find. So Chris may find some confrontation here as he pushes in. Dennis is going to be waiting for him as well, though.
So tense as he comes around the corner, and the intensity brews evenly.
Yeah, perfect play from mousesports, I'm afraid. Reacting to what the teams may be doing and how they're adapting, and that's what you need to do to shut down a team that may not be too formidable.
Gob's going to have the same problem, and the nade coming out at the wrong time. Kinguin now have map control on the A site, not in full force yet, but they've got movement speed and, rather, I should say, space to get toward that site. Speedy's the only one directly on it. Nex is interestingly down by the ladder. There's not going to be any company there, so he'll be able to turn, and he's got a lot of vision toward the plant position, the train, but Rain's gone forward to this. Interestingly enough, they're actually not looking toward the A site just yet. And this is going to be probable because they may not expect this. Although Dennis was. He's already got the first kill on Rain. There's lots of time to deal with. So Kinguin are exploring all options, but Speedy got to control room. And now it's Fox to go against both he and Nex. And Fox going back, retracing his footsteps in toward Ivy, is going to look toward outside. Initially, he knows that Speedy was in that site, and he must have heard him drop down from control because he didn't even look an initial peek in that direction. But that's what I was talking about with Nex. Once he goes for the peek at that site, he's got so much vision.
So we saw the CTs pushing in so hard at the beginning of the round, picked up an early frag, fell back, but as we saw, the T reaction was pretty good. Coming out Ivy, finding the kill onto God B. It came down to quite a tense situation. I think Rain had some great advantage positions on towards the CT spawn area, but he got taken down, and that was the key moment. As soon as Rain got taken down, they lost their positions, and it came down to that clutch from Fox at the end. Wasn't able to do anything with the 2-on-1. And we can see now it's going to be a full-on force buy from Kinguin. Look at the nades they have available. Train is a map where you want to have all your smoke grenades, all your Molotovs, if you're successfully going to get onto the site and even have opportunity to kill some of the CT. So I'm not sure how they're going to approach this one. It's going to be a very difficult campaign to even find a frag at this stage. You can see Dennis there. He knows he can get away with facing. Even the economy is pretty bad for the T right now.
And as soon as they did put out that force smoke that we've talked about on the right side, T-right, obviously left of what we're seeing from Dennis. There was a counter smoke that deterred any movement from Kinguin forward, and that leaves Michael there alone. They've rotated Rain and Fox back over toward the upper tunnels right now. That's where Schneider's going to hold the bomb, and it's not surprising they've let Schneider be that bomb carrier as he is just standing in. It does mean someone has to fill Scream's footsteps on trying to find opening picks, and Chris J's done exactly that for his team, as has been the case. So it's a real boot on the other foot situation as Kinguin finally find themselves behind, much like mousesports did in the first two maps. And again, they'll fall in this round as Chris J picks up kill number 2. And that was initially the bomb, but that's recovered by Dennis. But Fox is only able to find 1 kill before it looks like everyone else will expire.
So right now, there doesn't look like there's a plan whatsoever. They're literally, like I said, just trying to work picks, seeing if there's anything available to them, maybe they can force a play out. But mousesports are too drilled on this map. It's the kind of map they are perfect on. They know their roles very well. They adapt it. They keep it changing it every single round. So if you're trying to react to what they did last round, you're going to get shut down. And they're just trying to, they haven't got a set piece to go out to. That's what you need to be falling back to. If the picks aren't coming to you, you need to just be getting the bomb down at least. And then you can have the opportunity to use your individual aim and performance to get yourself into the round. But now another force buy. And this round is going horribly for Kinguin so far. Speedy looks like he's be pushing the inside bomb site again.
Nex has put himself above the smoke on top of the bomb train, but it also means that he's exposed, and that means Schneider can get the kill. Chris has gone back to the AUG. We saw that come out on Cash very early on. He actually picked up 2.5 kills. He got 80 damage off the third player with it. But Kinguin finally with a round and working in their favor. Speedy the last that's alive. He's at the bottom of the ladder toward control room, and as they go for the plant, he goes for the peak, and Schneider's waiting. So that's a pretty good round for Schneider when he comes in.
Yep, very fast execute onto the side there. Pretty simple stuff. I think they got a couple of basic smokes done as they ran out. But frags went in their favour that time. Chris J, who's still picking up the AUG again, didn't really do much of it. But now, interesting enough, Speedy's going to finish things off with the auto sniper. We know this is one of the best maps for this gun. A lot of smoke spamming can come into it, and it looks like he'll be playing the inside bomb side as well. It's probably the best place he could be going with that. But the T's maybe doing something a little bit more methodical now. The smokes have gone into the A bomb site, and they will be coming out of the pop dog area as well. First frag comes in for Rain.
He takes Nex, gives them sight mobility, as Michael is going to find Chris J. Gob, the only response kill so far for mousesports. And Fox is smartly going to cover off that ladder behind. That takes away the flank potential. Rain now getting Speedy. It's a trade kill. The auto sniper only able to pick up 1. And the op to close it. 11-4 is the half. That's better than what Team Kinguin did on the first 2 halves. It was 10-5 both times in the previous maps.
Yep. So 3 rounds for Michael there and 2 for Rain. So those guys really stepping it up. If they can find that kind of form going into this, obviously I think they need the pistol. They need every bit of help they can get going to the second half. This isn't their proper lineup. Schneider's come in as a merc. If you've just joined us, Scream has been DDoSed to buggery, and he is being replaced by Schneider. And they're ultimately playing as a pug now. So the CT setups will be very difficult. They need to find some synergy very quickly. Getting the pistol will give them a nice bed of rounds at least to not have to force buy and be under pressure straight away.
As we started off in halftime number 2, Michael Schneider, Dennis, they're going to be covering off outer. Chris J. Speedy heading down toward Ivy. Gobby's going to wait, but Rain is finding the first kill. It's an inner. It's Big D. Mousesports Dennis trying to find his way toward inner to see what's up. What's going on? Give me a read. Schneider kicks the peek at Ivy. He does see an 8 come out, so they know there's a presence, but they haven't spotted how many players just yet. Now they do, and they're going to fall off it. They don't even want to take this fight, so Schneider heads to hell, and they're going to work onto him. Nice first shot, dropping the bomb down, but it's quickly recovered as Gobby getting the trade kill. So Michaelele knows they're in that direction. He doesn't know if he wants to throw his nade to the left or the right. He doesn't need to put it either direction because Rain has picked up 2 phenomenal kills before that can even detonate. And it's left to Speedy to come around from green. Rain in control. Nearly caught him with the reactionary flick, but it's Michaelele again to close out the round, and Kinguin continue with the trend of picking up every single pistol tonight.
Yeah, there we go. So Rain started off the inside bomb site and managed to get that amazing one ball onto one of the tees there, and then he actually rotated to Heaven on outside. It's an interesting play from him. After the read came in from Ivy that he could fall back, he got up there and picked up 2 more frags of his own. So that all came down to Rain, and he secured the pistol. But interesting enough, though, Mousesports, for once, not buying scouts. They get a couple of P250s, maybe looking to play the long game this time. I guess they didn't get enough kills to even justify it. They couldn't even buy a scout. The option wasn't even there.
And they're going to go down ladder, as it appears. They're grouping at the top of it. 2 players already down. They're actually splitting up, which takes the bomb to the inner bomb site. Smoke out to allow the entry and potentially confuse Kinguin, but there is no confusing a team that slaughters you that quickly. Bring the gauntlet out. It's 6 for Kinguin. They're slowly bringing back this lead. They'll have 1 more round with guns before the true test will face them.
Well, you never know.
We're going to see Tech 9s. Is that what you're suggesting?
I don't know. I think
I wouldn't advise it.
I wouldn't, especially given the circumstance. You know you're playing against a pug. Why take that risk and allow them to get back into the game?
Don't throw it away.
Exactly. Why even allow them to have that chance? Play the percentages, and this is obviously a smart play from Mousesports. Sacrifice this round and then look to the bigger picture.
Schneider's going to look from red in toward main. As aggressive as jumping across the other train. That nade could bounce. If it bounces back far enough, it'll do damage, but they get away from it. And it's going to work out still, though, for Michaelele, who's picked up 1, 2, 3, all with SMG. So $1,800 for him as Chris J tries to salvage some pride. But pride's not really the issue right now. It's the fact that Kinguin have got all 3 of those anti-ecos, but the weapons will come out. And will there be an upgrade from these SMGs?
I don't think they need to. I think this is the round you do something very aggressive. I'd say I send those 2 SMGs pushing the inside ramp. Or potentially towards Ivy as well. That could be quite a cool option for them. They want to try and find a quick frag with them. You can see Rain is going to be pushing in himself. He has got the M4, so where are these guys going to be going towards with those? What's the most viable position they can play?
Flash coming through, though, does catch Dennis just a little bit. He's able to dodge it, but he has to turn around on the second. Fortunately, the fire's out, so they can't push through with his back turn. Next doesn't give a shit if he can see him or not. Michaelele finally getting a response, though. Another SMG kill. And this is the thing, without upgrading, they're going to still be able to bring out weapons in the next round. They may actually still pick up this one as Rain gets on top of the train and just barely over the smoke will take down Gobby. Dennis, meanwhile, though, has planted the bomb. So advantage to him in the one-on-one because he can just bait this out so carefully. But Rain has guessed correctly on where he's going. And Rain, only 2. It seems like he got more than that because of how much impact he had. But he wins the round for them. One
of the best clutches in Europe. You won't see many players better than him in those situations. And it was actually nice to point out that Schneider got 2 MP7 kills there. So making that buy work for them, the MP7, the P90s, they pushed into the main entrance and actually got away with it as well. That's a huge round to win. And that's 4 in a row now for Team Kinguin. There is some light now as Mousesports force up, and they do get a nice buy in terms of equipment, but they have an MP7 and a Galil, and now they have the AWP out. This could get really interesting, and it looks like the AWP's going to go very close inside as well. Michaelele going into the aggressive shotgun AWP style.
But it is Little Lee to take down Big this time. Chris J will get Fox. That's at hell. So it allows him to push up the alley. Now they can force out the site, and next found Dennis. I thought that was a stray bullet from Chris that actually got that kill for a second, but it wasn't. It's left to Rain to try and clutch again, and that's not so easily done this time. Michaelele, 1-on-3. Again, you talked about his aggressive forward op. I had to go a little more passive before he could find a kill, and now he's smoked off at the alley. For the exit, what a shot. That was crazy reaction from Michaelele as he takes down Speedy, and he's actually going to go for it, perhaps feeling confident on the back of that. 48 HP to do it. Hasn't been able to swap over to an AK just yet. Does get a flash forward onto A1, but as the Molotov lands on the bomb, the shot will come in from Godbeat.
So Chris J getting some big opening frags there, 3 of his own onto the bomb site. This is obviously where it gets really interesting. If the CTs can win this round, they reset the money for mousesports, and if they lose this one, it could be the window of opportunity for mousesports to close out the series, because they will be on a double eco, presumably after this one. So obviously one of the biggest rounds in terms of this map. So let's see how it goes down. The CTs maybe doing something a little bit more passive here. I don't see so much. We've got a scout on Schneider, so it's be very difficult for them to hold off this assault from the terrorist side.
And that first smoke that bounces up the ramp allows the push to come in so much more comfortably for Rain. Doesn't necessarily mean you can go through it, but you'll be able to hear the footprints. And in fact, if you throw it a little bit further right, you can leave a gap that's very favorable for the CT player. Regardless, the CTs at A are doing the job of killing off everyone. Gobby and Dennis, the last two that are alive right now, both with AKs, both with head armor. Not both with nades, though. It's only Dennis that has a flash.
Look at Gobby's position. He's got all the way to the backtracks. It's not going to be enough, though. He had someone who made another frag. They could have done something with it. He got all the way to this position undetected.
Should get Dennis. Oh, he's got Rain, and Dennis doesn't hear the call fast enough, so now he picks up 2. And Michael is low on HP. This is actually doable for Gobby. So 2 already and 2 to go as he looks down toward Red. He's already tagging up, though, from Schneider. And Schneider knows exactly where he was, but not where he is, because he's run away to retrieve that bomb on the back end of Ivy. But Schneider's going to fall back into Z. He may think that he's gone towards CT. So this could work out for Gob to get a bomb plant, because Schneider's going to do exactly that and work into his own spawn. In fact, he really thinks he's gone CT because he uses the ramp to set up for a headshot. Now they hear the plant coming in, and Schneider has to give up position. So Gob has this to work with. Again, Michael is very low on health, so they need to play this together, make sure they can get the trade kill. The problem is that Michael is going to pop while he's exposed, and luckily Schneider's already nailed the shot over top of the train. Kinguin to get the defuse. 9 rounds now, but not yet back into this fully.
I was actually watching Gobby that whole round. As soon as I saw him have that sort of position and control, getting towards the backtracks, you knew it was going to be chaos for the CTs. Like he said, he got that first kill. There was no time for the reaction to come back for them, so he picked up another as well. Got the bomb down as well, and that might actually save them, because it means they can do a pretty decent force buy this round. AKs, Tech 9s, full utility as well. So I don't think the CTs will be expecting this so much, but you can see their economy is not great. Rain is picking up the Max 7 this time as well. It looks like mousesports will do a full execution on the outside bomb site. Perhaps that's judging by their buy. That'd be the most sensible thing to do, but let's see how this one goes. Where are they actually currently heading? Making their way out into main straight away.
And lots of smokes. Yeah, lots of smokes already down. They've covered off the gap from red to green, which means that they can't spot it without moving into hell. That's what Next finds Fox trying to do. And Schneider will get a response kill, though. There wasn't a fully third smoke to go out on top of the bomb train, so they could still jump above it, and Schneider's found himself a hefty amount of kills. In fact, not quite the full handful. All 5 fingers not needed to count, but his teammates to pick up the rest, and now they're on double digits and only 2 behind mousesports. Again, they've got the first 2 maps.
Absolutely. So now it seems like Schneider's picking it up as well. He seems like he's actually playing really well for them. 12 frags for him, and he only joined pretty late into the game, so he's stepping it up. But there we go. 10 rounds now for Team Kinguin. Having a look over the economy for the terrorist side. The loss bonus playing in their favour. They got the bomb down a couple of times as well. So it's a pretty reasonable buy. Chris J is going to be on Tech 9. So is Next, actually. So they're getting into the realms of they just probably want a full eco and go in with the percentage chance, having the full buys, utilise the full execution they have, take advantage of the fact that Kinguin are a pug here. So that's what I'd be advising. But here we go. Another execution on the outside bomb side, getting out pretty quickly. Next is so dangerous in this position.
But what can he do alone? Again, they've smoked off between the 2 trains. That enables him to push up. Does he cut the gap and head to hell? He may not. He's actually looking to push forward of the bomb. And that means Fox now knows it, so he can get away from hell and try and come into support, and he does perfectly as he takes down Gomby. Second shot not as successful, but it's Schneider to pick it up because the damage was dealt onto Speedy. And Chris J with the Tech 9, 1 on 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down he goes.
So then,
the timing not quite
Kinguin
perfect.
actually looking like they've got a chance here with the stand-in. They get one more round, they tie things up, and look at the T side. They're considering a Zeus coming out for Next now. Why is that happening? He was favouring the Zeus yesterday, remember, on Dusty?
Yeah, that was slightly different because they were against Torpedo. This might be a misclick.
An actual misbuy for once. That was just quite funny considering he was buying that for fun.
A lot. So was Speedy. They tried to sit and smoke numerous times to use them.
But here we go. The T's going very fast inside with the full eco this time. Couple of pistols in their hands, but Rain is ready for them. and he does very well by himself.
And there's the smoke being slightly more to the right. That time Rain not pushed fully up against it, though. So he's spotted in reverse. Snyder's going to hit Chris J, though, to open it up again. So you're dead right. He's definitely come alive. The former Fnatic, former property member. And he's done the task to allow Rain to close it. We're tied back up. Kinguin, this is impressive considering it's a map that required more execution. Now, it is CT side for them.
Yeah, so I think that's what they needed to do.
Schneider stepping in.
They just needed to get enough rounds to justify their CT performance. Now it's currently 8-1. And then on the CT side, they've drawn things out. And again, we can see Chris J, he's going to get the AWP, is what we're talking about. This is something perhaps they should have done before instead of forcing so many difficult buys. But now they should be able to work the picks a little bit better and exploit the pug mentality.
Fox doesn't realize. Now he did. He definitely saw him that time. I was going to say, didn't realize that Gabi was that close to him. And spraying into the smoke, he finds two. He can safely, or at least attempt to reload. As Rain was there, but Rain got taken down. They close it again. It's going to be desperate times now for the T's. They're in a position to force. Okay, they go to Tech 9s. That's smarter. I do agree with it.
Fox is actually one of my favorite main players on Train. He's so good at picking up one or two frags. He's not the flashiest stuff. He never is in the clutch situations, but as a support player, he always finds one or two kills. He's so reliable out there, and he seems to find kills out of nowhere. But here we go. Like you said, it's going to be the force buy, but they keep 2K in the bank, which justifies considering the loss bonus. So it looks like they will be heading towards the inside area again. As we said, they're actually maybe going to drop down the bombs inside, with the other guys trying to get a distraction. Rain opening up on Chris J.
Schneider was the last one into the server by something, I think, like 4 or 5 rounds, and he now leads the team in kills at 19. If you combine that with Scream stats, who had 7 when he left.
Yeah, you're right.
That's pretty crazy. 28 kills in just 25 rounds for that slotted player, but Kinguin are just absolutely
touching distance,
demolishing mousesports right now. Another swift entrance. Now that, again, was an eco force buy with the Tech 9s, but eco nonetheless. It was definitely quick.
Yeah.
Painless, perhaps.
This is the round they were looking to. This is the response. The double AWP setup. Next takes one. Dennis takes one.
Triple AWP, by the way.
Triple AWP. I didn't see that. A triple AWP setup. Is this the right response indeed, Train? If the CTs go a little bit aggressive like they have been,
life?
They go a little bit aggressive like Rain is going to now. This could be a whole big problem for them.
Well, they find a pick with one of them. They've lost an AK in the process, so it's an AK and 3 ops, and 2 of them now getting kills. Chris J's won't. The one that you might expect to find the kill.
That's Rain going aggressive again, though. That's as soon as I said, as soon as he goes aggressive, they can't do anything about that. It's close range, and he got completely locked down. 3 on 3 now.
Interestingly enough, he's going to rotate all the way around toward main and go for a retake in the alleyway. Bomb's been planted. This round's actually looking better for mousesports because Dennis picked up yet another, picked up yet another kill. But that's canceled out by Michael Ellie. And here's the flank, but he's looking directly at Rain. Dennis read that like a book.
Not a very good book.
Twilight. As now Michael Ellie is going to try and find the last 2 remaining players with his ops. So it really is a round of the ops, and he walks out. How does that work? How does 3 ops work, and they've recovered 2 of them?
I don't know. It's really strange. It's like the aggressive playstyle, like I said, Kinguin have been employing and getting people very close to the choke points. You'd assume that wouldn't work for mousesports, but it has. And it's not over yet, though. Obviously, Kinguin built a pretty decent bankroll in these last few rounds. As I said, that's actually, after the buy, they still have like 8K in their pockets. So they are fine for the rest of the game now. It's actually the T side is going to be struggling a little bit more. But here we go. It looks like another very fast round. Dennis going for this opening pick, seeing what he can do with it. But the T's are spreading out, again, trying to exploit the pug mentality of Team Kinguin. Can they find any little mistakes from them and maybe some overfacing? Schneider, though, opening up on the Dennis. He had an AWP. That's an amazing frag from him. Nexon's back with some Julies as well. What is going on? This is a crazy round. But a great kill from Nex nonetheless.
Ulies. Fox has pushed himself up behind the boxes. Now, okay, that's the key thing. Is now that the teammates deployed the smoke, he's actually got that much more room to breathe in case someone did pop out the ladder. So we see him already pushing back down the wall just a little bit further, not having to worry about his gun protruding forward, and can focus more on the main connector. And without a smoke out for Michael Lille, he can actually fire into that, but he's going to change his angle just a little bit. But Fox no longer has that smoke, and as he goes for the first shot, Chris just walks out. It's that easy to take from ladder when there's not a support system or a crossfire in place. But Schneider, he's still going to pick up 1, make it 2, swapping to the pistol. This guy's been absolutely crazy. Welcome back to the world of competition, Schneider.
That's a 4-man for him as well. Now a 3-on-1 situation. They take it to match point. That's amazing stuff by Schneider. 4 huge kills as the Merc and the server as well. How has he stepped up so well to the plate here? And that's going to knock the confidence down in mousesports to absolutely nil. They won the last round and they go into this one with next to no money as well. Team Kinguin in touching distance and making it to Group 1 of the PGL. Amazing scenes here. 2 rounds to go. Do you think mousesports have what it takes to win this round? It's going to take such hard work and some huge play. Chris J has got the scout though, and it looks like an inside rush will be coming in. God B leading the charge.
Oh, Gob in the smoke. Rain has no idea he's there. So it is going to be a great shot for him to go in toward the site, but it's all trading back. 5 kills coming out so quickly you couldn't even keep up, even if you could read fast enough to finish Twilight by the time this game's over. And it is going to be Dennis to take down Chris J. Back to a 2-on-2, and the op is up for Michael. He's down to 31 HP, but again, it is an op, as I just mentioned, so all he needs is position to get one shot off. Dennis is taken down next. It is match point, and it is a 1 versus 2. Dennis needs to bait this out. He's not even going to do it. Kinguin are going to make this happen, and negative scream plus Schneider. Just kidding. Kappa.
Wow. Schneider, 26 frags. Didn't even play all the rounds.
That's insane.
That's like one of the sickest performances we've ever seen. That's amazing.
Of course, Kinguin on the T side. Back to the way we were on the first map. Another choice by them, which means mousesports got the side choice, and they chose CT. Not surprisingly, Speedy already going to push up inside the tunnels at B, and he's got problems as soon as he rounds this corner. Little does he know, as that first flash comes out, he dodges it accordingly, still manages to pick up 1, which is pretty good considering the situation he was in. And the rotations have come over as a result as well. So this isn't too bad yet for mousesports. In fact, it's quite slow from Kinguin after that initial duel. And they may have to reconsider, but they're going now through lower. 3 players, they trip over each other a little bit, are down the tunnel already. And with that smoke out in front of Fox, they'll be able to work in toward the bomb train. And the nade from Scream makes things a lot better in the terms of manpower against them, because mousesports lose 1 more. But Gabi's now brought back Michael, and the bomb's been planted, but they're so far away. And this is one of the things with this inner site, is that if you can duel them and manage to push beyond where you plant the bomb, it's just that much harder, as it's a labyrinth of trains and alleyways you have to cover off. Scream doing a task. It's going to be Kinguin. 5 pistols now in a row.
As you said that's quite interesting. The fact that Speedy pushed up and managed to get a kill, he must be quite lucky. We were feeling quite lucky with that one. He should have got taken down straight away without any response. But they got that first pit kill, did the smoke down lower ramp. I think they were trying to bait out the grenades. They knew they took the vision away from the CTs. So it actually was quite cool from Kinguin. They didn't force it. Most of the time we'd see them just get straight in there, but they waited, bought their time a little bit, and made sure they got in successfully. Bomb went down, and it was pretty simple for them from there. Went down to a 2-on-1, which they cleaned up. But of course, mousesports reply straight away. They have got the scouts out, and they will be trying to find a kill. That's going to be Chris J. We saw him do amazing work of it on the last map. Will he be able to recreate the same magic we saw this time? Now they've actually heard the scouts being fired. Kinguin just need to slow it down a little bit. They can do pretty much exactly the same round as they did on the pistol. Do a smoke down to lower ramp perhaps. That'd be really good for them. Just get in, get the numbers on, and they've only have 1 kit to actually retake the site with. So aim at the game Kinguin right now. Get that bomb down and see what they can do with it. But Dennis, smoke off one of the tracks, get out with a flashbang, see if they can cause some chaos. Obviously the scouts going to be out there. Maybe if they
That's the best Canadian you've said all night.
Is it?
The Scoot's going to be out.
The Scoots.
Scoot out.
But that's about all we have right now. We can see the players. Who's going to be missing? It's going to be Scream that got affected quite badly from that. So he should be rejoining any second. And hopefully we can get this one underway. 1-1. This is the 3rd map, of course, for anyone just joined us. It's going to be, if Kinguin take this one, they will be taking the series and going through to the first group of the PGL. And mousesports will actually be going out. And that will be quite an upset, I would say, considering what's going on. I think Kinguin still are quite an unknown factor. They're quite unstable. The fact they went from Dream at Valencia, great performance from them, but they lost their coach after that. And then you think, okay, is that everything reset for them? All the hard work now has to go back. And so it seems like even without their in-game leader, the coach tonight, they've gone 2-0 up pretty convincingly, 16-5, 16-7 versus mousesports. You have to credit where credit is due. They've done pretty well. Yeah,
I think that this map, again, we've said it time and time again as we've talked about leading into this, and obviously we've had some time to do that based on issues we've now seen, but this is the first map I really think Mouse can take.
Yeah.
And you said it as well, that you wanted them to wrap it up in 3. I mean, we still have Overpass next, and then Mirage.
But that's what I'm saying. If mousesports take this one, I think it may be going all the way. It really will. It'll go down to the 5th map.
It could go all the way.
Like, I'm pretty confident in that. But it seems like all the players are back on the server now, so we should be jumping back into this as soon as we find out the resume point.
The thing is, to go against that theory, though, and I agree with you statistically speaking about the maps and the way that these two teams play and the fact that Kinguin doesn't, not only not having an in-game leader and much that execution, don't have their coach, which they've brought in to bring that tonight either, which should potentially have an effect, although we don't know how much effect Lagish had and how much time he's had to mold that
like
team.
You said, 2 weeks, he said, right?
Right. Well, I'm assuming somewhere in that realm is correct. Obviously, last night it was made official, but the bigger thing for me is just the fact that Kinguin has been outscaling mousesports in skill in a lot of ways. So if they don't wake up, you can throw theory out the window.
Well, this is the chance for mousesports to bounce back, winning the anti-eco. Well, the eco for them, I guess. Force buying with scouts yet again. They've got straight back into this and in a very strong position now. Need to make sure they don't lose this one, otherwise they're in a world of pain. But here we go, we're finally back in. It looks like Kinguin will be going for that outside rush I spoke about. Actually, no, it's going towards inside. So maybe the smoke's down lower ramp, seeing what they can do with it. They just want to get a bomb down, but there's going to be some aggression from Dennis. Takes down 2 men, and he should better fall back now and tie up the round as long as he plays his cards right here.
So the only thing by calling a stop is that it resets at the previous round. Fortunately, there wasn't any damage done before that stop or that resume period came in, because then you could get the controversies of other teams, you know, saying this, that, and the other thing. But we go back to exactly where we were as mentioned. So it's 1-1. And it is 3-3 in terms of manpower. Lots of HP lost and blood away from the Team Kinguin, but they are getting the kills. And more specifically, it's Little D to take down Speedy this time. And he'll fall back to join his teammates. He's also picked up an M4. He's got Kevlar. As an additional smoke nade goes in. And no one pending to be a threat right now on a flank, per se, as Nex is in the back of the site, doesn't have a lineup on the bomb planter and slips off the edge of the train, so has to hit the shot, does. They're all low enough that that scout will do it. If he can find the angles, and speaking of that scout, there's also this one from Chris J, which is coming in through Z Connector. It is able to take down Michael Lilly, but bombs planted for that high position, and it's now 3 scouts on the map to close out the round. How perfect is that? Nex is on high HP, though, which means he's got to switch to the Deagle to Scream. He's also got the problem that Chris J is diffusing in that smoke, and Scream's going to ignore the first kill. It would have been fancy and a big blunder by Nex if that had happened.
That was crazy. All the scouts trying to no-scope each other, trying to run past. That was a pretty fun way to finish it, but mousesports do...
involved in the game, yeah, you're going to get DDoS.
Yeah, but...
because they care about their little in-game currency, and they just want to be a troll.
No, I mean, the fact is that there are ways to protect yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that as well. The players need to take it upon themselves to do due diligence in avoiding that, VPN, getting off Skype, programs that limit IPs.
That's all I meant. I didn't mean to upset you.
Oh, I'm not upset.
You looked very angry.
I was a little angry. It's a little pathetic, let's be honest. And not only that, it's and apparently it's with Scream in specific, but not only that, it is actually... and this is going to become more of a thing, not to get too political here, but this whole internet bullying and internet conduct policy is going to become more and more serious as time goes on. And eventually people are going to be given massive fines, potential felonies, and criminal acts for
I'm pretty sure
types of things.
DDoSing is a felony, not necessarily a player. I don't think that counts. But if you take down a website, for example.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
So it's a very big ballsy move to do.
But you could argue this is a business. You could argue this is a business, and therefore... there is loss of income. There's damages that are done to sponsorships here, viewership. Yeah. Obviously, we've got something like 40,000 people. You could argue that that's a demographic and a frequency reach that, you know, marketing relies on. So you could argue the same thing, technically. Get a strong enough lawyer. Depends how much you want to spend.
I want you as my lawyer.
That's the worst decision you could have made in your entire life.
We'd have a good time, though. Go out in a blaze of glory.
It would be fun. It would be Saul Goodman, where he just comes into the courtroom with a giant spiel and makes a big elaborate scene, and then the judge just looks at him and goes, "You're an idiot."
And I go to jail.
And I go, "You're right. Send him to jail. Send him to jail. I'm an idiot. I agree."
Well, okay, so I can't really remember. Okay, it was one. Kinguin to the pistol round. mousesports answered back. I assume we'll be coming back to that stage at 1-1, and it seemed like Kinguin forced ball with Tech 9s. I don't think they'll be able to do much with those. I guess their best plan really is to try and get a bomb down. They bought one smoke grenade. Smoking off the lower ramp to inside could be a thing, but I think I saw them running towards the outside bomb side. Maybe they've got a little set piece. Somehow finds a shotgun kill onto Rain towards T-spawn. He's pushed the Ivy area, and that's a big kill to get. That's really weird how Rain didn't answer back to that one, but there we go. 5-4 in favor of mousesports.
As they work up inner now as well. We've seen eco rounds be contested. We haven't seen one be lost yet. So the anti-ecos have been scary and hairy, but still carry.
Yeah, that sort of works.
Sort of works. They still get the rounds is what I'm essentially trying to say, and as we can see, it's starting to look that way again.
Oh.
But as I say it, the commentator's curse comes out, and now we've got it. The double scout pays off. mousesports back into it.
The God B pays off more like. He got a 3-man of a 5-7. That was crazy stuff from him.
God be.
God B. That was really, really strong round, and this happens time and time again. They always force it, but the time they get it, you can't really argue with it. The scouts prevail, and now that forces Kinguin with no bomb as well. They will be on. It looks like they are going to go for the force buy. Armor's being brought up. Tech 9s. They have got a smoke grenade as well. Perhaps could do literally the same thing again. They've opted for inside twice in a row. What are they going to do this time? You can see a lot of the players gathering up towards that main. So, what's happened there? Oh,
We've called a pause in the next round, but something peculiar has just happened. And Kinguin's saying thank you.
I assume someone crashed. Let's keep this mark.
They do have E-Bot running, so they will be able to match medic this quite quickly. But it was called a stop by Dennis. That was brought.
DDoS.
Yeah, so interestingly, Kinguin's got the issue that we all fear. They called the stop, so this should actually, when it goes to resume, go right back to where it was. It actually just pauses out the whole server rather than just an in-game pause. So this isn't too much to be concerned about where the score's been reset here. This will go back where we were.
Yeah. DDoS is still an issue, apparently.
Of course it's an issue. Are you kidding me?
Well, like, you can't protect yourself.
You let any salty motherfucker out there that's betting skins